Whatever magic you do, make it your own. So as the title says, this video is going to be on personalizing your magic and why it's important and just, tips, tricks, and traps and such. So by personalizing your magic, I mean don't just go through books like all the books that I got up there and take the rituals that you can find in them and only do those rituals. You know, pagan books like that have all sorts of rituals in them that tell you to grab candles and this and that and the other thing and da 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 da, and to go through this step, this step, this step, this step. Okay, you're done. Say this chant, visualize this, blah blah blah. You need this with this color, this with that color. Do it at this time of day. Do it under this moon phase, what have you. Think about it like cooking. When you're learning cooking, you apply other people's recipes. If you get good enough with cooking, you're going to get the ideas of, oh, I know how to do this. Oh, if I add this, this might be nice. Oh, I bet if I wanted to make this much, the original recipe that I learned only called for this many of this or whatever, and it made this amount of serving, but I want to make this much, so I'm going to play around with the math and stuff. Magic is kind of the same way. Personalize it to your own tastes. Personalize it to your own desires and stuff. Not every spell that you're going to read in one of those books back there is a one size fits all. So when it's almost like plagiarizing or something. Like, think of it this way. In school, let's say you had a project, like a speech to give or like a presentation to give or whatever. Let's say that you had a PowerPoint that you had to give and you just happened to you didn't know what the hell you were doing, so you had your friend make it for you. And then you didn't review it or whatever, and then you're standing up there in front of the class reading your PowerPoint that someone else made. It's going to sound much more robotic. You're not going to be familiar with it, and the presentation would go over much better, much easier if it was your own content. I mean, I'm not trying to bash other people's workings and other people's books and stuff, but magic is much more powerful when you put your own personal spin on it and you design it to your own liking. So, yeah, let's talk about a couple of different ways to personalize things to your own liking or to yourself. One, write your own intention, write your own declaration of intention. Two, put in your own ritual objects, your own personalized ritual objects. Like the standard ritual pagan altar calls for certain things, but add some more things to your altar, things that give you energy. If spells call for a certain number of candles and you happen to want more, go for it. If it calls for a certain color of something, like a candle or whatever, but you don't exactly resonate with that color, then given certain wiggle room with correspondence and stuff, change that color. If things say you can only do it at this time of night, but you can't stay up that late, the idea is to do it hidden and safe and undisturbed and silent. So when can you find time to do that? Doesn't necessarily need to be 3 a.m. Cough. Necronomicon spellbook. Cough. Things like that. So effectively, when I'm talking about personalizing your magic, you got to add your own spin on stuff because it's going to be much more comfortable to you. And it goes without saying that something that you make yourself is going to be much more powerful than something that you do that somebody else told you to do. I mean, yes, those things can be effective, like the rituals and stuff in the Simon Necronomicon, like the gate walking and stuff, it's all scripted and all that, whatnots, but that's where repetition and integration into the unconscious versus, oh, what's the next step that I have to do? Oh, I have to read this. I'm not exactly that good at pronouncing it. That's where practice and stuff comes in. And there are some things like this that the power is there in its repetition. The power is there in the fact that it's been used by so many people with its connection to the collective unconscious and all that. But when it comes to everyday rituals and stuff, things that you want to do to manifest something in your life, it's your life. It's not somebody else's life. So design your own rituals and your own spell work for these things. So that's why buying up a whole bunch of books and doing research and whatnot can really help you to understand what the flow of a ritual is, what the correspondences are that you can then poke and play around with. Let me give you an analogy here. Okay, so Stephen King, right? I'm a huge fan of him. Friggin' love the guy. He's a really down to earth guy, and he's amazing. Anyway, he says if you want to be a good writer, you have to do two things. You have to write a lot and read a lot. So let's translate that over to magic, right? If you want to be effective with magic, you have to, well, write your own rituals and read a lot of rituals. So you have to practice a lot of rituals and research a ton. The more that you research and the more that you learn about different spell work, different ways to execute spell work, with like attracts like and sympathetic magic, and what you can do in a ritual format and a ritual context, the more tools you are going to have in your toolkit for when you want to manifest something. Okay, I have a negative thing in my life I want to get rid of. What can I do? I can bind it. I can banish it. I can absolutely effing destroy it. If I want to manifest something in my life, what can I do? I can do a candle spell. I can do sigils, this, that, and the other thing. The more that you read from other people's works, the more inspired you can get and the more things that you can have in your toolkit, so you are able to craft your own effective rituals. But the more personalized that you make it, and the more that you are able to write a complete spell workout from A to B, from step 1 all the way down to step 10, or how many steps you have, you guys get it, the more effective it's going to be, because it is going to be tied to your own subconscious associations of all the different tools that you use. You are creating it from the ground up when you make your statement of intent or your invocations or things like that. They are from your own wording, so it's going to be much more comfortable. So it's going to not always rest in the logical mind of, okay, I did this step, now this, okay, what's the next word on my script? And the more that you repeat it, the more integrated that it's going to get, so it bypasses the conscious to subconscious, which, as I continuously say, is the gateway to that whole fabric of the universe and stuff that we manipulate through our magic. So, yeah, I mean, that's it in a nutshell, and you guys know I go on these rants and stuff. If you want me to expand more on this, you can always let me know in the comments, and you can connect with me on my social media, which you can find at the end of this video with all those links and stuff, and even down in the description. So let me know what you guys think, and good hunting. Thanks for watching my video. So if you want to check out my playlists, I have, among others, the Simon Necronomicon, the Tree of Life, General Magic, Tulpamancy, a playlist on my books, the elements, stones, the theories that govern magic, and the gods and goddesses of Mesopotamia. If you want to check out my books on Amazon, I have Creating Consciousness, Magical Mechanics, Magical Theater, Handy Sigil Magic, Magical Movement, which is an update and expansion upon Handy Sigil Magic, Magical Mastery, which is a combination masterwork of Magical Theater and Magical Mechanics, and The Guide to the Spheres and Beyond. You can also find me on Facebook at Magickology YT. You can email me at priestofthenecro@gmail.com, and you can even check out my Instagram, which is Magickology. And good hunting.